Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, make sure you click that little subscribe button down below so that you get the chart updates as they become available. For those of you that are regulars, do me a favor, click that comment button or give me a like. Helps the magic YouTube algorithm know that people actually watch, and that would be amazing. So we are taking a look at what happened yesterday in the S&P. And I put a little tweet out on this yesterday. This is a great example of catching a reversal trade on a confirmation entry. So price came into the area. We got a little more than halfway in and then came back down out of the area. So this wound up being a pretty nice move. 27.44, you know, in my mind, your profit target should be down here around 27.20. Mostly because this was your opposing fair price value area. If you held on to it a little bit more and got a little bit more, you know, run out of it, great. But, you know, it wound up moving about 40 points from our entry off of this level. So if you were able to catch that trade, do me a favor, leave a comment down below. That would be great. So that people can see that they're actually doing it. And thanks for that. Now, since we did hit this level, I'm going to have to remove it. We traded all the way to the top, so it's no longer going to be valid for me again. Now, could I use this level? Well, realistically, you know, now that this level is the origin of a strong drop in price, but is this really an origin, or is this the retest of what happened over here to the left? Well, I don't really want to use this as a level because this is a reaction to this area that occurred here on the left. So instead of that, what I'm going to do is maybe stick with the area that I have identified above it for a potential reversal. What about where we are today? So today we are up about 2.5 points this morning in very early pre-market trading. And so I would look for potentially a breakdown, actually. So I'm going to move to the 4-hour chart. And there's a potential breakdown being put in place right now. So I will say that my market outlook today is going to be a bit more bearish than I have been. You know, I haven't been as bearish. You know, even on this pullback, I thought, well, you know, I don't think we've broken a major pivot on the 4-hour. And we still technically haven't broken a major pivot. But if we break below 2,700, I think that there's a chance that we could fall to 2670 pretty quickly into this area here. You know, we've got this little region right there, but this is a retest of this area here to the left. And so I think there's a chance that we could continue to fall into this region down here. So, you know, kind of going forward in the S&P, what I'm looking at today is as long as we stay above 2,700, I'm probably not going to do anything until we get all the way up to here to 2,755. But if we break below 2,700, I'm looking at more of a breakdown trade right now. Now, in the NQ, a similar price pattern as well, where we could get a breakdown trade from here. Now, the NQ is up a little bit this morning in pre-market trading, but we are setting up for a potential breakdown in it as well. So both of them do set up for potential breakdowns lower than where price is right now, remembering how our stop losses work on those breakdowns. Crude oil. So crude is continuing its march higher. We got a breakout above a high. Got my alert on that breakout above the high. This is almost an unsustainable, you know, rally with this kind of a straight up movement. But that being said, you know, this has potential to still continue to break up through here. You know, we could get a breakout long opportunity if you wanted to take the breakout. I'd much rather somebody buy a breakout than try to, you know, really wait on it. And this weekly level is coming up. So I do want to go back to this weekly level here. Now remember, these numbers are going to be slightly skewed based upon the contracts, because in this particular broker, they just take all all the front month contracts, and as they roll over, kind of smash them together. And so you do have to look at the contract specific, to kind of see where we are for crude going all the way back. This particular broker doesn't go back quite as far, looking at the contract specific. So what I'm going to do is just kind of still use this as a guide, knowing that it exists. The better area is up here at about $90 a barrel. But I said a long time ago I think crude's going to go to 80, and it looks like we're continuing our march back to that area, back to that region. I'd be more apt to buy a pullback at this point, or to get long on a breakout. And we are setting up for a potential breakout long up above 73 if you've not taken it yet. Some of you may still be long from the breakout. Gold is continuing its move down. We are putting in this lower swing highs here in gold. We do have a potential reversal right down in here that we're getting to. We're not quite there yet. Looking at it on the daily chart, that would be our potential reversal in gold. This comes all the way back from earlier last year, where we had a nice reversal on a candle-to-candle style trade. That was a pretty picture-perfect example. It's still going to be a valid level. There's no reason to take that daily level off the charts yet, so we're going to leave that one in play still. Looking at bonds. So in our bonds, we have finally made it back up to our potential entry point in the 10-year note. Now, we've not yet made it to the activation point of the trade. So our activation point is going to be right about here. Let me kind of draw a line. So we're just about there now. Now, I will say I'm not a huge fan of our arrival into this level. Our arrival, the fact that we've touched it and then we came down out of it, and then we've come back to it. What this tells me is that we've got very low momentum coming into this area, and so my reversal coming out of it may be a bit weaker. So in something like this, I would still maybe take a flyer at it, because I still think it's going to be effective. I still think it follows the rules, but I would probably take a smaller position size. This is where I would position size to a smaller contract, simply because I don't feel as confident with it. It still sets up and follows all the rules, but where, in a normal trade you might do 3 contracts. In this case, I would do 1. In a normal trade, you might do, if you do 5 contracts, maybe you do 2. Because it still has all the rules in place. My problem with it right now is that I don't have a real strong case to get short until we hit here and then come back down. Remember, we still wouldn't be even activated yet, because price has to come up a bit higher to activate it. But once it gets activated, you might have your short a little bit lower than normal to get in, maybe down here, instead of just right one tick, just to give you more room, because like I said, lower probability. Looking at the Aussie, so on the Aussie, we've still got a reversal level in place up in here. We found a little bit of support in the Aussie, but not a tremendous amount, so I'm going to hold off really on anything in the Aussie today. In the Euro, we're still in between our big price area, which I talked about yesterday a little bit. I am going to add this level here as a potential reversal. This level here that was formed at the open, and we'll see if that level does indeed still continue to play into the trade. And then the Canadian dollar, nothing really to add. There's nothing in here that's going to excite me too much. Getting a little rally in the Canadian this morning. We could get a breakout long above kind of this area here if you wanted to give that a flyer. Take limited risk on it. It's not a great long setup, but if we do break above here, you might get a decent little entry, especially if we chop before it. That might give you a decent little entry if you wanted to take a flyer on there. But we'd have to kind of chop before a little bit to make those rules fit, because that's what's going to eat into the order inventory. Nat gas, we're still in between our levels of demand, way down below us here, and this resistance point up above us right there. Great British Pound. we are continuing our fall, looking at it on the daily chart. We do have an area way down here, not quite gotten to that level as of yet, and that one's kind of continuing its move down. On the Japanese yen, I'm going to place this area up here on our on our areas to watch, because I think that this area, when we get there, could be a good valid reversal. So that's all I have for today. You know, what our movement will be today, who knows? But just keep an eye on this for a potential breakdown, and be safe as you are navigating the waters today. So thanks so much, everybody, and please feel free to send me an email, Chuck@IIE Financial, if there's anything for you.